Because the new chapter of Trump derangement syndrome is the constitutional crisis that is his presidency, because these Dems cannot handle that he's actually doing great work immediately and Americans are happy and excited.
I don't like clowns.
Blue-haired communists.
I'm a parasite.
This parasite.
Communist infiltration, communist indoctrination.
You're fired. Get out of here.
They don't care about you, they only care about themselves. Remember the Democratic Convention? They had a big fence around it and checked people's IDs. All I want is for this country to have the same level of security as a Democratic convention. The Democrats still seem confused as to why they lost this election. They want to think it has something to do with misogyny or racism. Well, let me clear it up for those still bewildered Democrats. You lost because you tried to tell the American people that the economy was great when they couldn't afford to buy groceries. You lost because you ran a moron in place of a president you knew was a corpse attached to a car battery. Democrats, you lost because you tried to convince the American people that it was racist-y to close the border and not let people come in illegally to rob and murder them. You lost because your Justice Department called parents who showed up at school board meetings terrorists just for not wanting pornography in their children's classrooms. You lost, Democrats, you lost because you lied about January 6th, calling it worse than Pearl Harbor or 9/11, instead of what January 6th really was, the FBI guided tour of the Capitol building. You lost, Democrats, because men can't have babies, women don't have dicks, even if they play in the WNBA.
All right, that's real funny shit.
And you call yourselves African American, mommy Africa, right? Why don't you go back to your country?
Because black folk are the owners of the whole planet. Everywhere belongs to us. You can't say because you criticize, that makes you the most patriotic, because you criticize so that America correct itself. I'm the most patriotic person you'll ever find because I want America to correct herself.
That's amazing. And correcting herself mean to do what?
Correct herself meaning to stop murdering us, to cease and desist killing us, cease and desist raping and robbing, cease and desist the unjust incarcerating of our people, cease and desist flooding our communities with drugs and alcohol, cease and desist poisoning our waters, cease and desist holding on to resources that never belonged to them in the first place and for benefiting from those things. Those are the things that I want them to do. And to, you know what? Show us the money.
Show me the money. See, I told you want money.
Yes,
begging
because
for
it
money.
belongs to us.
There you go, begging for money.
Elon Musk, I have this to say to you on behalf of the American people. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been incredible. We really appreciate it. Keep going. You can do it.
As President Trump overhauls the government at a breakneck pace,
The media has been breathlessly predicting a constitutional crisis.
By definition, are we in a constitutional crisis?
Dangerously close to a constitutional crisis.
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 I think this is the most serious constitutional crisis the country has faced, certainly since Watergate.
Well, the talking points appear to have gone out. Look at this. Look at these highlights. The term is all over the headlines. And then listen to this. I could not believe it. CNN guests were wildly teasing jail scenarios for Trump allies.
So far, they've been talking tough, but I think largely have complied with these court orders.
Then what's next if they do defy a court order?
First thing you would do would be to go back to the court and hold the administration or the individuals who are not complying in contempt. And there are a series of remedies that the court can order if someone is in contempt, including jailing them.
The great dilemma is that the jailer is hired by the president. The president of the United States has control over the Department of Justice. If he decides that the U.S. Marshals are not going to enforce the court order, then what is already a crisis becomes a catastrophe. Then the system is broken. It's all hell broken loose.
And he's a Harvard professor. I mean, that's Larry Tribe talking about Trump controlling the jailer. We're back to talking about jail, everyone.
You're going to jail.
Because the new chapter of Trump derangement syndrome is the constitutional crisis that is his presidency, because these Dems cannot handle that he's actually doing great work immediately and Americans are happy and excited. And at the end of the day, I find it so ironic that it's the Democrats that use such ferocious, violent language, not only toward President Trump and anyone associated with him, but also regarding the courts. The president was prosecuted unfairly and frankly unconstitutionally on multiple fronts, and yet he always said, I will abide by what the courts decide, and he pointed out corruption when he saw it, but he never once said, I will buck a judgment.
Oh, this one's interesting, sir. It says all the fat, bald feminists with 40 cats who hate men, they will now be put in the front lines during any war. They don't have family or kids, just cats, as I said, so let's put them to work.
And people have wanted to do this for years. What's this one?
If somebody says you have to respect my pronouns, you are allowed to fart in their mouth, sir.
Stranger things have happened. The wind brings it down a lot.
And yet the Dems were saying that. The Dems are doxing judges. The Dems are using that rhetoric. So to me, they can say what they want to each other. You know, constitutional crisis is the new 6'5" finance. But I'm a little tired of hearing their talking points disseminated, because at the end of the day, the thoughtful conversation that Americans want to have apparently is only on the right. And it's about where are our tax dollars going and how is our safety and security confirmed.
So Trump said he'll abide by the courts. Well, let's remember what Biden and Obama said. It sounded a little different than abide by the courts.
We are not just going to be waiting for legislation in order to make sure that we're providing Americans the kind of help that they need. I've got a pen and I've got a phone.
Middle-class families can't wait for Republicans in Congress to do stuff. So sue me.
Supreme Court blocked me from relieving student debt, but they didn't stop me.
So are those jail-worthy remarks to Lawrence Tribe of Harvard?
According to his metric and his words, yes, absolutely. You know, these are two sitting presidents who felt like they were above the law.
Wait, isn't that a double standard?
Hypocrisy. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning.
did this?
Who did it?
Who did this?
It is a messed up world.